Today's lesson is about one of the most important parts of building a business that can actually scale: hiring, and the mindset that you need in order to get this right. Most business owners fail at hiring before they even get a chance to really start. Not because they don't care, not because they don't want great staff, but because they're playing the wrong game. So here's what I mean by that. The average small business owner interviews two or three people that are probably their cousins or people wanting cash to top up their government benefits. And then they wonder why they can't find the right fit for their business. They tell themselves that nobody wants to work anymore, or my generation has wrecked it for everyone. There's no good people out there, or it's impossible to build a reliable team. But the truth is that they're not wrong about having the frustration. They're wrong about their process, because hiring is absolutely not about luck at all. Hiring is not about finding one magical unicorn applicant who somehow landed in your lap, that never shows up late, that never makes mistakes. Hiring is a numbers game. So think about it this way. If you are trying to grow your revenue, would you only talk to two or three prospects and then give it up if they didn't buy off you? Of course you wouldn't. You would fill the top of your funnel, you would generate more leads, you would qualify them to see if they were the right people for your business, and you would keep going until the right people converted into sales. Hiring works the exact same way. If you want extraordinary people, you have to open the top of your funnel wider than most of your competitors are willing to go. If you're only speaking to three applicants and half of them are your relatives, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But if you build a system where you're screening 300 applicants in order to only hire one, suddenly the odds are stacked in your favor. So let me repeat that, because this is really important. Hiring is a funnel, and the wider the top of your funnel, the more control you have at the bottom. Now, here's the mindset shift that I want you to make. The person that you hire next can literally change the entire trajectory of your business and your life, since you're the business founder. They can multiply your growth, they can protect your reputation, and they can give you back time that you thought that you would never get back. Or they can drain your energy, waste your money, and pull you backwards, distracting you from the growth that you are working so hard to get to. That is the difference that one person in your business can make. That's why treating hiring casually is a huge mistake. If you're only speaking to a handful of people, you're rolling the dice on your future. You need volume and you need a process. You need to play the numbers game on purpose instead of leaving it up to chance. So here's the standard that I want you to adopt, because you're not here by accident. Stop saying to yourself, I'll just hire someone when I need them. Start saying, I'm building a hiring funnel that gives me the best chance. I'm screening enough applicants that I don't feel desperate. I'm treating this as a core part of my growth strategy, not an afterthought, because hiring is not just about plugging holes with band-aids. Hiring is building a machine that runs without you. And every great machine runs on great people. So in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to treat hiring like a true funnel. The same way that you would treat your marketing or your sales, because when you approach it this way, you stop wasting time on the wrong people and you start building a bench of talent that is always ready when you are as the business owner. So let's talk about the hiring funnel. Most business owners treat hiring like a last minute scramble. They wait until they're desperate. They put one ad up and then they get a few applicants and then they pray that one of them works out. That's not an appropriate hiring strategy. That is panic. The truth is, hiring is marketing. If you wouldn't run ads for a week and then shut them off forever, why would you treat your hiring process any different than that? You don't just run ads when you're desperate. You run them all year round because you never know when the right person is going to walk through the door. So I want you to stop thinking about hiring as finding someone. Stop thinking, I need a person right now, and start thinking intentionally. I'm always running a campaign to attract the right person because the right person doesn't show up on your timeline. They show up on their timeline, and you have to be ready when they appear. And if your funnel isn't running, you are going to miss them. So here's how to look at it. Hiring is not about filling a seat because you need it. It's about creating a pipeline. You're not just looking for warm bodies to clock in and clock out. You're searching for the right person who matches your culture, aligns with your standards, and wants to grow with your company. And just like marketing, you need volume. Imagine your sales funnel. Maybe you generate 300 leads. Maybe 50 of them are actually qualified to do the job. 10 of them book in an interview. 3 of them get an offer. 1 of them signs up. That's completely normal. That's expected. Hiring is the same. You should expect it to look like this: 300 applicants, 50 pass an automated screening process, 10 are actually interviewed, and 3 come back for a second interview, and then 1 gets hired. That's not failure. That is the funnel working. The mistake that small business owners make is that they stop looking too soon. They get 10 applicants and think, this is enough. But if you're only looking at 10 people, you're shrinking your chances of finding the right one, literally on statistics alone. You've already lost before you get the chance to truly begin. So let me put this another way for you. You don't want to marry the first person who agrees to go on a date with you. I'm sure as hell glad that I didn't. You want to meet enough people to know what's out there, to know what's possible, and to know who actually fits with you. Hiring is no different than that. This is why a hiring funnel matters so much. It's not about finding someone. It's about filtering everyone until the right person is left remaining. And here's the deeper truth behind that. Most of your competitors are not willing to do this. Most of them don't want to look at 300 applicants because they don't have the resources of doing that if they're doing it all manually. Most of them don't want to put a system in place that can run all year round. They will keep scrambling when it's too late, which means if you build your funnel, you win. When you treat hiring like marketing, you create choice. You're no longer desperate. You're no longer rolling the dice. You're no longer hoping that 1 out of 3 people works out. 3 of your cousins, by the way. You have a bank of talent to choose from. You're running your business from a position of power instead of operating out of a state of desperate panic. Now, I'm going to show you how automation makes this entire process a hell of a lot smoother and easier. Because without AI automation, it can feel incredibly overwhelming. But with automation, the funnel runs itself 24/7, and you only step in when it's time to make a decision. This is where systems and automation completely change the game. Most business owners fail at hiring because they try to manage everything through their inbox with their manual time and input needed. They're looking at their phone and they're relying on their memory. They post an ad, applicants email them directly, resumes stack up, some of them get lost, some never get opened, and by the time that the business owner has the chance to reply, the best candidate is already gone. It is messy, slow, and inconsistent. That is why automation matters so much. Automation takes the problems out of hiring and turn it into a predictable process that can be repeated, that runs without you. Inside of Cornerstone AI, we built the exact system that does this for you, and I have been using it for years when hiring people in my own businesses. It starts with pre-screening questions on a form that's on your website, and every applicant who applies is given a set of scenario-based questions and behavioral-based questions. These questions are designed to weed out the poor fits before you ever have to see them or interact with them. You are not spending your valuable time as the CEO of your business on people who were never going to work out in the first place because they're overseas somewhere trying to get you to give them a visa, or they're just looking for jobs in order to keep getting their government benefits. The applicants who cannot answer properly are automatically rejected for you. The ones who pass move forward. And this all happens before you even touch any of this process. The next stage is automated sorting and rejections. So every applicant who does not meet your criteria receives a professional rejection email automatically, and they're moved to a different stage in your pipeline. That means you always have their data if you do want to go in and there's something that, someone's left your business and you now need to send out automations to your entire previous existing pool of talent so that you can get someone who may still be looking for work. That means no ghosting people, no awkward conversations. You keep your reputation because you're actually letting people know whether they're successful or not. And there's no risk in damaging your brand. You maintain professionalism at every step without lifting a finger so that these opportunities are still open for you if you need them in the future. The ones who qualify are automatically moved to scheduling their first interview. They receive a link to your calendar with your availability so that they can book their first phone interview directly into a time that suits you or whoever your hiring manager is, so that you are no longer emailing backwards and forwards, you are no longer chasing people, and you are no longer forgetting to reply. It's all done for you. If they don't book in, then automated reminders are going out to prompt these people until they do. And if they don't book in their interview after a certain time, it disqualifies them and keeps their details inside of your software in case you need to rehire. We can contact them with automations in the future, meaning that you're not starting from scratch again with a pool of applicants every single time that you're trying to expand and grow. And when you decide to move someone to a second interview, the system sends them again a second link without you having to chase them, and every applicant is stored inside of a tracking pipeline. Further than this, we can actually set up something that will take the meeting notes of your, if it's an electronic meeting that you're having with people, it can take down all the notes and all of the answers and then store it directly in that staff member's file as well. That means if you make a hire today or 6 months later, that person leaves, you do not have to start from scratch again in your hiring process. You already have a bank of applicants who are strong enough to make it through your funnel so that you can go back, you can reach out to them, and you can re-engage them. That is how you stay ahead in the game while your competitors start at zero every single time. So think about how much time this actually saves you, let alone the money that you make in the long run. Think about the difference between your business, who can send professional rejections and acceptance emails with automation, compared to the one without automation. You are spending hours reading resumes that lead nowhere. You are sending emails one by one, trying to coordinate interview times and losing track of candidates in messy inboxes. With automation, the wrong people are screened out without you having to waste your time. The right people are nurtured automatically, and only the very best land in front of you. This is the 24/7 hiring machine that Cornerstone AI provides for you. It runs in the background while you focus on leading your business. It saves you time, it protects your brand, and it keeps you ready to hire whenever you need as the business owner. And the best part is that once this pipeline is built, you are never desperate for people again. You are not waiting until the last second to start looking for someone after someone leaves at short notice. You are always ready because the funnel is always running. Further than that, we have a set hiring pipeline. We have set our own hiring pipeline up so that after the second interview, we either tag them as accepted or rejected. And if they are accepted, it's going to start sending them out their employment contracts, position descriptions, your company policies, their bank detail forms. It'll start the process of getting their police check, working with children check if they need that, their tax forms, everything that they need is going to be signed digitally and then gets automatically stored on the person's file without you having to touch a single thing. And it notifies you once all of this is done so that you can actually offer them their first day of work. Because I hope you're not letting anyone start without having everything signed and returned to you first. Okay, so in the next section, I'm going to explain exactly why this time saving advantage matters so much to your growth. Because without it, you will stay stuck in the same exhausting loop that most business owners can never escape from. So let's talk about the time saving advantage of this process. Most business owners underestimate just how much time they waste in the hiring process. They think the hours that they spend emailing backwards and forwards, reviewing resumes, or chasing people are just a part of your job as a business owner. But when you add all of that up, every time you hire, these hours are the reason they are stuck working in the business instead of working on the business. So think about it like this. How many times have you opened your inbox and seen 10 different resumes, all with different formats, different lengths, and no way to tell who is worth calling? You scroll through them, you skim past a couple, and you second guess yourself. And before you know it, you've wasted an hour just trying to figure out which one deserves a reply. That's an hour that you could have spent on sales. That's an hour you could have spent on your strategy. That's an hour you could have spent with your family or pouring into yourself. That's an hour you could have been on the tools actually bringing in money. And now it's gone. Now multiply that by every single hire that you plan on making in your growth journey. Dozens of hours vanish. Dozens of hours that do not move your business forward. And here's the worst part of that. Even after all of that effort, most business owners still hire the wrong person because their process was random at best. With Cornerstone AI, that time wasting cycle ends. The wrong applicants are screened out automatically before they ever hit your desk. The ones who fail to meet your criteria, the rejection messages are sent out instantly and they're taken care of professionally, holding your reputation. You don't even have to think about any of this. The people who are qualified are guided into your calendar without you chasing them at all. There's no endless backwards and forwards. There's no missed messages because you're working in the business. There's no forgetting to follow up. And by the time that you see an applicant face to face, you know that they've already passed the first layers of your process. That means that every interview that you take is worth your time. And this is not just about convenience. This is about building momentum. Because the faster that you can move the right people into your business, the faster that your business can actually grow. The longer that you delay this, the more opportunities that you are losing. And I want you to imagine two business owners here. One is running everything manually. They spend weeks going through resumes, trying to find interview times that suit the both of them. And by the time that they make an offer, the best candidate has already taken another job. The other business owner has automation. Applicants are processed the same day. Interviews are booked without friction immediately as soon as the right talent is screened in your process. And the best candidate is hired before anyone else gets a chance to take them. Which business do you think is going to win? And do you really want your competitors finding the best pool of talent before you? Time is not just hours on a clock. Time is a competitive advantage in business. Every day that you waste in hiring is a day that your competitor is getting ahead of you. Every strong candidate that you lose because of delays is someone who could have been multiplying your results inside of your business. The right hire will solve problems for you in your absence instead of creating new ones. With automation, you are no longer competing in the same way with your competitors. And that this is something that other people can't copy because they can't see your internal processes. You are faster, you are more consistent, and you are more professional. You become the business that great people want to work for because your process feels smooth, modern modern instead of clunky and outdated. Don't forget to put yourself into your staff members' shoes. What business would you prefer to work for? Would you prefer to work with one that can instantly pre screen you, who has intentionally designed their hiring process, who has a legitimate position description with an outline of the duties that you are going to be doing? Does that seem like a fair employer where you'll be paid fairly, where you're not going to have extra anxieties before rocking up to the job because expectations were never truly set and you can't be held to them? Or would you prefer to work for the business that has put a job ad out saying, hey, need help, just had someone quit, and then they don't get back to you for weeks on end, and then they call you last minute telling you to rock up and do a cash job for them? The real benefit is not just the hours that you save in admin. The real benefit is the hours that buy back your opportunity for true leadership. Instead of drowning in emails, you are thinking about strategy. Instead of wasting your time on the wrong people, you now have more energy to pour into being a true leader of the people who are already committed to you. Instead of chasing candidates, you are building an appropriate culture that is built for success. Instead of trying to hold the process together, you are driving the vision of your company, which is what a CEO does. This is the time saving advantage. It is not just about saving your time for the sake of it. It's about using your time where it matters most. Because in business, what you focus on grows. And if all of your focus is stuck on admin, then you are not growing your business in the areas that matter. In the next section, I'm going to show you why this mindset matters so much. Because hiring is not just about filling a seat. Hiring is about choosing the person who will multiply your growth, protect your time, and help you to build a future that you actually want. Hiring is not just about filling a seat. That is a selfish mentality that will not take you far as a business owner. Hiring is about choosing the person who will either multiply your growth or drag you backwards. That is why this lesson matters so much on your growth journey. Because most business owners treat hiring like a reaction instead of being intentional. When someone quits, they go into a panic. Someone new is needed, so they scramble in a state of desperation. They throw up an ad, they cross their fingers, and they hope. But what they don't realize is that every hire is shaping the future of your business. The wrong hire doesn't just cost you a paycheck, it opens up legal liability that can shut you down. The wrong hire costs you in opportunities and in damaged reputation. The wrong hire costs you in distractions where you're focusing on putting out fires instead of being able to pour into moving your business into the right direction. They cost you in your culture. They cost you in your time. They cost you money. They cost you clients, and they drain your energy. When you look back at the moments in your business that felt heavy and stressful or disappointing, to say the least, how often was there a person involved who simply was not the right fit, whether it was a client or a staff member? Now imagine the opposite. The right hire gives you leverage. The right hire protects your brand. The right hire serves your clients at a level that you expect and creates more space for you to focus on the growth of your business. The right hire doesn't just fill a role, they elevate your business. And this is why I say hiring has to be done from a place of power and intentionality and choice, not from a place of desperation, not from being under pressure, because emotional decisions usually cost you in the long run in business. Not because you need someone right now. That's not a great hiring process. But because when you are desperate, you lower your standards. You take the first person who shows up when deep down you can feel that voice inside of you telling you it's a bad idea. You settle. And every time you settle, you lose trust with yourself and you pay for it. Maybe not right away, but eventually it will catch up with you. This is why building a hiring funnel and running automations matters so much in your business. It gives you choice. It gives you a bench of talent to choose from. It gives you the power to decide instead of pressure to settle. I want you to think about this in a way of how a sports team operates. They don't just pick random players or someone from the crowd when someone gets injured. They have a bench of people lined up. They have a roster of people ready to step in when it's needed. They are always out scouting for the best talent because they want to win. They're being intentional. They are always building depth into their teams. And when it's time to play, they are ready. Your business needs to be the same. You don't want to be the business that waits until you're drowning to look for help. You want to be the business that's always has the help ready to step in because your system is always running for you. This is what automation allows you to do. And now you should be able to understand how the businesses who continue to operate without automation cannot compete with the one who does, especially compounding results in 12 to 2 years from now. In 2025, whether you use Cornerstone AI or look at your own automations, you have no excuse not to be using the tools at your disposal. There's no badge of honor you get from doing it the outdated and old way. It means that you are never caught off guard. It means you never settle for less. And this is about more than just business. This is about your life as a business owner. Because the truth is, the wrong hire doesn't just slow down your growth, the wrong hire steals time away from your family, from your future. They steal peace of mind. They steal energy that should be spent on your purpose. And that right there, this process I'm talking about today, gives you all of that back. When you start seeing hiring through this lens, everything has the ability to change for the better. You stop looking at hiring as a chore that you resent. You stop looking at it as something that you have to deal with. You start seeing it as one of the most powerful tools for building freedom. Because when you hire the right way, you get your time back, you get your energy back, and you get to step into the role of CEO instead of being trapped as the operator working in your business. That is why this matters so much, not just for your business, but for your future, for your family, and for your freedom. So, in this section, I'm going to leave you with the key takeaway from this lesson. I want this burned into your mind every time that you think about hiring. Because if you remember this one thing, you will never look at hiring the same way again. The takeaway from this entire lesson is simple. Hiring is a numbers game because business owners lose because they refuse to play that game. They interview 2 or 3 of their cousins and then they complain that they cannot find talent. They think that there is something wrong with the workforce or the economy or the future generations. They think that nobody wants to work anymore. But the truth is, their funnel was never big enough to begin with. And those people probably just don't want to work with you because you haven't demonstrated why they should. If you only interview 3 people, you are relying on luck. If you only collect 10 resumes, you are hoping that the perfect person happens to be in that tiny pool. And hope is not a hiring strategy. The business owners who win are the ones who understand the math. 300 applicants, 50 pass the first round of screening, 10 are interviewed, 3 make it to the final stage, and 1 gets offered the job. The best pick of the bunch. That is how the funnel is supposed to work. When you build that kind of process, you will feel the difference in your business. You are no longer acting in a state of desperation. You are no longer pressured into making a decision that you will regret. You are choosing the right person from a position of power. And this is the mindset that I want burned into your brain. Stop thinking, I need to hire someone right now because something's happened in my business. And start thinking, I am always building a bench of talent. Stop thinking, I will interview 3 people only and that will be good enough. Start thinking, I will screen a minimum of 300. Stop thinking hiring is about luck and giving your power away to external forces. And start thinking of hiring as a system that you have control over. When you adopt this mindset, hiring goes from being stressful to being strategic. And honestly, it's one of the most enjoyable parts of my business because now I'm in a position where I'm hiring people because of who they are and because they're smarter and more capable than I am. It goes from being random to being predictable. And once it is predictable, you can use that to scale for your advantage because your business will only grow as far as your team is capable of taking it. And the team that you build comes down to how intentional you are with your hiring process and the funnel that you create. So never forget this. Hiring is a numbers game. And if you want to win that game, you must build a system that makes the odds work in your favor as a business owner. So now let me close out this lesson with this. I want you to imagine 2 different companies for me. The first company does what most business owners do. They stay average. They wait until they're desperate and then they interview a couple of people and then that is their entire pool of talent to choose from. Maybe one of them does show up on time. Maybe neither of them is qualified. Maybe both of them are wrong for the role. They end up settling because they don't have a choice. And every time that you settle, you pay the price later. Now imagine the second company. This company has a simple form running on their website all year round. They have been intentional about their hiring process. They are not waiting until they are desperate. They are always collecting applicants. Over 12 months, they've had 1,000 people come through their funnel. 1,000 people. From that 1,000, hundreds of them are automatically filtered. Dozens of them are interviewed. And a handful are kept on file for the future. And when it comes time to hire, they are choosing from the very best of the best for that position. So here's a question I'll leave you with. Which company finds the better staff member? The one interviewing 2 people out of desperation or the one screening 1,000 people with a process that compounds year after year after year? Which one's going to be able to stay in business longer? Which business owner is going to be more stressed out? The answer is obvious. The company with volume, systems, and consistency will always win because the odds are on their side. That is why hiring is not about luck. That is why hiring is not random. That is why hiring is not just a one-time event. Hiring is a numbers game. The more that you put into the top of your funnel, the better the quality that comes out of the bottom. And if you build your system right, if you treat it like marketing, if you keep it running all year round, you will never be desperate for hiring again. You will always have choice of the best candidates. You will always have leverage stacked in your favor. And you will always find the right people at the right time. So take this with you. Hiring is a funnel. Hiring is a system. Hiring is a numbers game. The ones who understand that build teams that carry them to freedom. The ones who don't stay stuck forever. The choice is yours. Now, don't forget, if you're not already a customer of Cornerstone AI, reach out to me. We can set up a free strategy session to see what can be automated in your business, and I can explain in depth how we can help you, how much time we can save you. And if you haven't already, head to the video, why most cleaning businesses stay small and how I broke that cycle with AI automations. That's going to give you a breakdown of some of the things that we can automate for you. But if you want to jump that queue, send me an email, let me know, book in your appointment, and get your automations today.